Alright, my name is Sven Popović. I was born in 1989 in Croatia, but back then that was actually Yugoslavia. You might have heard of Croatia. We're pretty good at football, and we're pretty good at losing in basketball as well. Anyway, I was born in '89, as I said, and everything started falling apart. First they tore down the Berlin Wall, so that was the end of communism, and then also Yugoslavia fell apart, so I think it might be partially my fault as well. I'm just bad luck, obviously. Anyway, I'm a writer. I wrote 2 books. Right now I'm finishing my 3rd here at my residency in Ljubljana. I think I might just be able to finish it. I wrote a short story collection called Nebo u kaljuži, which means the sky is in the gutter, and that will come out in the United States this August 2023. And I wrote a novel called Uvjerljivo drugi, which means, well, let's call it Loser by a Landslide. They're both books that concern themselves with the topic of the generation, of the millennial generation, so the biggest losers among all of the generations, because we were promised that if we study, if we work hard, that we're gonna get rewarded, and that is something that does not happen in this late stage capitalism. Also, these, the short stories also have a tinge of magical realism. So there's like a guy who remembers all of his past lives, or shadows that can talk, or guardian angels of prostitutes and bums and drunks, etc. Right now I'm, working on several things. I'm working on some book reviews, on some music reviews. I'm translating. I also work as a translator from time to time, and I'm translating Arthur C. Clarke's A Fall of Moondust. It's fun because I used to read a lot of Clarke as a kid. And as I said, I'm finishing my novel. My novel is called The Kid and the Leviathan, Mali I Leviatan. It's a fantasy novel full of pirates and anarchism and swashbuckling and the fight against colonialism. And I just decided I want to write a book that's about the things I love, which is pirates. I really like pirates. And I like anarchism, and I like feminism, and I like anti-colonialism, and I like sticking it to the man. And I basically wanted to write a book that I would want to, myself read. And I wanted to remember what it was like when you're a child and you're reading, like, your parents go to sleep and you have curfew, you have to go to sleep earlier. And then you wake up when they go asleep and start reading the book again, and you can't wait until the morning to start reading it again. I wanted to recreate that kind of magical, childish feeling. So it's kind of a fairy tale with a bit of coming of age, young adult subject, and it's going to be illustrated by Klasia Habjan. Her father is one of my favorite writers and conceptual artists, and Klasia herself is a great poet, writer, and an amazing illustrator and designer, and check her work out definitely. So now I'm going to read a short story called The Volvox Don't Glow in the Dark. Volvoxi ne svijetle u mraku. I'm going to read it in Croatian though. Yugoslav or Croatian, whatever you want to call it. I prefer Yugoslav. It's a story, kind of a love story I wrote 13 years ago when I was, a young, promising writer, and before all the disappointment started. So, anyway, here's Volvoxi ne svijetle u mraku. Tvrdila je da je ne slušam ili tako nešto. Nije to bilo ništa loše, ona se nije ljutila, samo je ustanovila da imam problem s koncentracijom. Sunce se rađalo, voda za kavu je upravo prokuhala, valovi su šuštali i milovali pijesak. Meni se od tog zvuka pišalo. Sunce se rađalo i ona je tvrdila da je ne slušam. Otišao sam pišati. Čuo sam kako žličica udara o stijenku šalice. Jesi li odlučio? Kaj? Ideš li doma ili ne? Should I stay or should I go? Opet nešto govori, ne čujem je od mlaza. Vičem. Kaj? Rekoh, znala sam da ćeš me naći. Osjećam njen topli dah u uhu. U noćnom smo klubu, drma neki elektro i slabo je čujem. Odgovaram gutljajem piva. Otkako smo se sreli u trgovini Ploča, nisam je mogao izbiti iz glave. minijaturni uragan koji se predstavio kao Megi. S kim si ovdje, pitam? S burazom. S onim koji skuplja longplayke? Kaj? Ne čuje me. S onim koji skuplja longplayke? Viče mi na uho. Nema nametljiv parfem, to mi se sviđa. Hoćemo izaći? Može, kažem. Idem pišati, pričekaj me vani. Ona kima, ja odlazim u WC. U muškom nije gužva, brzo sam gotov. Zakopčavam šlic i izlazim. Ona pije kavu, pruža mi moju šalicu, sunce se brzo razvija, više nije krvavo novorođenče. Rekla sam da ne moraš ići. Odgovaram kutljajem kave. Pita me hoće li na plažu sa mnom. Kaže da neće. Piće kavu na terasi, rješavat križaljke i sudoku. Uzimam ručnik i knjigu, Hemingwayeve novele i sjedam za stol. Voliš biti na plaži dok nema gotovo nikoga? Ma ne volim buku, vrisku klinaca. Vidiš, ja volim zvuk dječje igre. Slježem ramenima i ispijam kavu. Ljubim je obraz. Neću dugo, kažem. Izlazim i hodam prema plaži, udaljenoj 30 metara od njene kuće. Rasprostirem ručnik, Hemingwaya polažem na nji. Ulazim u more. Hladno je, ježim se, tijelo mi instinktivno želi van. Zaronio sam i odlučio otplivati do Bova. Tamo sam se izvrnuo na leđa i pustio valove da me ljuljaju. Nema smisla grčiti se, samo zažmiri. Opušteno. Nisam bio siguran koliko je poljubac trajao. Možda sekundu, možda je prošlo nekoliko sati i već je svanulo. Sviđaš mi se, dobro se ljubiš. A vidiš, meni se više sviđa Marica iz drugog C. Čarape joj ne padaju na gležnjeve kao tebi. Ljubili se kao ja. Vidiš, dugo nisam čuo taj glagol, ljubiti se. Obično svi koriste neke odvratne izraze. Na primjer, barenje. Zvuči toliko mehanički. Dakle, ljubili se Marica dobro kao ja. Ma tko je uopće Marica? Smije se, okreće se na peti i kreće prema klubu. Slijedim je i ulazim. Megi još uvijek rješava križaljke. Ostavljam knjigu za stolom. Idem pod tuš. Nema tople vode, viče. Ma nema veze. Stajem pod tuš i puštam vodu. Mlaka voda. Poput ljetne kiše. To zvuči patetično. Poput ljetne kiše. Svejedno, osjećaj je dobar. Sol pomiješana s vodom istuša mi klizi po tijelu u zmijolikim vijugama. Kisnemo i trčimo do najbližeg haustora. Pribija me uza zid, na ustima joj osjetim kišu, prljavu kišu. Kaže mi je to. Zauzvrat ona mene pribija na suprotni zid. Kaže kako je dobro što nas njen brat ne vidi. Ne podnosi kad mu netko dira seku. Ja sam odmetnik. Radim što god hoću. Dokaže mi. Razmišljam, gledam prema prezimenima na portafon. Prstom klizim po svim gumbima. Namigujem joj i trčim do sljedećeg haustora. Ponavljam. Trčimo uz ulicu, pale se svjetla u stanovima, ljudi gledaju kroz prozor, ulice su prazne, čuju samo smijeh. Šetamo mediteranskim mjestašcem. Odvažili smo se držati za ruke. Malo je neobično s obzirom na to da je mnogo niža od mene. Uglavnom šutimo. Ugodna tišina. Zapravo je to neka vrsta komunikacije. Sve je okej, ne moraš mi to reći, ja to znam. Hodamo. Uskoro se vraćamo do njene kuće. Kažem da ću malo do plaže. Čekat će me. Obećao sam svratiti do nje i sad se penjem na gornji grad. Ispod mene prostire se grad, prozori svjetlucaju poput planktona, volvoksa, čega već na površini mora. Mjesec je dovoljno blizu da ga uhvatim za rog. Ispružio sam ruku i zažmirio. Misliš li ovdje provesti noć? Megi sjeda do mene, obgrlila je noge, drhti. Ne, pijesak nije topao poput tebe. Onda hajde unutra. Ostajem još nekoliko dana, kažem joj. Ustajem i ljubim je. Iza mene prostire se more. Čini se gotovo crnim. Na njegovoj površini svjetlucaju planktoni, volvoksi, što već. Mjesec je dovoljno blizu da ga uhvatim za rog. Čiča miča, gotova je priča. So that's the end of the story. And since this year Ulysses' shelter subject is basically green politics or ecology or imagining a greener world, I think that's a pretty great thing. My city, not my city, the city I grew up in, Zagreb right now finally has a leftist and green party in charge, and they're finally making some changes after 20 years of a badly run and corrupted city. So that means we're switching to more bicycles, we have more pedestrian zones, and this is something I truly enjoy every time I come to Ljubljana. A lot of people on bicycles, a lot of green everywhere. I mean, I really love willows. And I love all trees, but willows especially. So it's really nice to walk, down the river with no cars interrupting unnecessary noise. So I think while as a civilization, the so-called, Western civilization, whatever we want to call it, whereas we made huge technological advances, I think that on a spiritual level, we're still maybe in the Middle Ages or maybe the Renaissance if we're lucky. I don't know. I think we didn't make that much progress spiritually, and I think our return to nature is something that can help us overcome that lack of spirituality, that terrifying lack of spirituality. I myself, I drive a bicycle, which reminds me I have to repair it once I come back home as well. I don't own a car. I don't even know how to drive a car. I think I'm dangerous enough on 2 feet. A car would be just too much power for me. So yeah, I ride a bike. I use public transport. Obviously, I recycle. I'm very happy that Zagreb finally started paying attention to that as well. And obviously, being here in Ljubljana, you guys have been doing it for a while. So that's also great. And I think that with just a few adjustments, maybe we don't have to change the world, but if we start changing ourselves, that's, start with the small things, and there's nothing smaller in this universe than us. I mean, there is, physically speaking, but, let's start with us, and hopefully we can turn things around. I don't know, I'm not too optimistic, but I try to be. So if we are, just kind to our neighbors, kind to our community, and recycle, ride a bike whenever we can, and maybe we can turn things around. So let's begin with us.